So once again, Hoop fans, Lori Shepard coming to you.
We're going to talk a lot about fantasy football rankings. I want to give the biggest shout out to high school sports.
Belly cut the defender, gets the ball, and it falls at the buzzer!
And we're live.
Hello.
Hello, welcome into Manic Monday here on Four Quarters, brought to you from beautiful downtown Barrie. The sun is kind of out, kind of not. It's our typical Monday. We're on late. This one I'll take complete blame for. You can watch us live on Aired Out and the Four Quarters Facebook page. Also, subscribe to us on our YouTube page. Welcome in. I don't know how everybody else is feeling on this Monday, but I'm tired. And I had a 3-day weekend.
Right?
Tired.
I am
Draft
too.
exhausts me.
It's draft hangover.
It is a draft hangover.
It really is. Friday I don't know about you guys, but Friday I felt hungover because of the draft.
Because of the draft. And
I
that is
started
why
strong and then totally died out.
Yeah.
By like
now
11.
you guys know why I take Friday off.
I
mean,
should have.
I think now that's going to have to be a new thing. The Friday after the draft is going to have to be
Yeah.
a day off.
I think I've done that for 20, 25 plus years. Usually I go away for the draft as well.
Gotcha.
Just go to a new town, new city, new state. My favorite one was sitting at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. So I think I'm going to have to get better at doing that because you can go anywhere where they have a professional football team.
Yeah.
They're going to have parties.
Yep.
And most of them do open up their stadium. So, yeah, this probably was the first year where I got into all 3 days. I usually stop after day 2 is my favorite day. I love round 2 and 3. The intrigues, obviously, in round 1. But because the draft was so freaking deep, and it was.
So deep, yes.
I was not watching it. I would watch a little bit. If I was out and about, I would check my phone. But it was a pretty intriguing draft. It really was. But first, I got to stop us, and we got to do some shout-outs.
Yes.
Wheels, I'm going to let you do your shout-outs first. CB, you got any?
One, yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Wheels.
Okay. So I just have a couple here. A shout out to Anthony Rizzo of the New York Yankees.
Woo, woo.
He was named
Oh, dang, I
he was
forgot my
named the
bell.
American League Player of the Week.
Because?
Because in the last 7 games, he has had 8 runs, 2 doubles, 4 home runs, 7 RBIs, and he's batting .407 in the last 7 games.
And
hit
what did he
his
get?
300th
And he hit his
home
300th career home
home
run.
run.
CB was a little irritated with him the first couple weeks of
Yes.
the season.
I
think
feel
you
like
were
he's
irritated with the whole team, though.
Oh yeah,
in general.
he had a couple of bad plays at first base, and I was just like, is there something else going on with him? Because he's so solid at first base.
Right.
Yes, that's why we
So,
got him.
Yeah, he missed a couple of scoops, and then so I was a little worried. Not that I was peeved, but I was like, oh, is there
okay, I
something
thought
else
you were
going on?
peeved at him.
No, I was just worried.
He's just an all-around great guy too.
He is.
Like
100%.
you know,
Yep.
like he's just. I'm
100%.
sure he is such a clubhouse guy too,
Mm-hmm.
and such a nice guy. So congratulations to him. He's on a tear. The Yankees continue to play well.
2 games
Very
of
well.
15 runs
Yeah, and Judge is finally hitting the ball.
yesterday.
I mean, I'm taking it day by day. So, you know, if
Fingers crossed. I'm hoping he turns
yeah,
this
I'm hoping he
around.
turns a corner. His response to everything is, "I'm Aaron Judge."
Yeah.
That's his response to everything. So
What does that mean?
that means he's going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Don't
He's
panic.
not concerned. He's not concerned.
No, he's not concerned because
All right.
he's Aaron Judge.
All
so,
right. I'm not concerned if he's not concerned.
did you guys see? And I can't believe we never talked about this. Aaron Boone getting thrown out due
For
to a
nothing.
comment that a fan made.
Yep. And you,
thought that
you
was a
heard
riot.
the
I thought it was
mic-
awesome.
Heard the mic of the He's like, yeah, probably was someone else, but we still got to do it. Like, what the hell?
Right.
How are the umps not held accountable? Like, that just blows my mind.
I was like, you clearly can see the fan behind
Yeah.
making the comment.
Right.
Literally.
Right.
And just Aaron Boone just being like, WTF, like, I'm literally standing here chewing gum.
Right.
Like, why? But I thought that was pretty funny. I can't believe we didn't even mention that. But
I mean, he's right, but he gets thrown out all the time.
he
does
does.
get
He
thrown out
does.
quite a
Yes,
bit.
true.
So it was, just an early night for him. Another
Right.
early night.
Hey, Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Joe. Another shout out to, and we'll probably talk about it a little bit. I know we're going to be very NFL heavy. To the Minnesota Timberwolves for sweeping the Phoenix Suns.
have them in our second
Love
quarter.
it.
Yeah.
My shout outs to Anthony Edwards. That guy
man.
is a beast. He will be MVP of the league next year. Is what I'm going to say.
When he got drafted out of Georgia, it was one of those drafts that was kind of one of the quiet drafts. It wasn't like Wembanyama and all the
Yep.
big names. And I love the kid in college. I'm like, this guy's going to really make a name for himself. He's a
Yep.
hell of a shooter. He just didn't have the hype coming out of college.
No.
And I don't know. I think he was the Timberwolves' #1 pick. But
Yeah.
I think it was in the top 3.
It was, and
If not
it was
the number
questioned
one.
highly, very highly. Yeah.
And I never questioned it once. I'm
Yep.
like, this kid's going to be great. And now look at him.
Yeah, he's awesome. So fun to watch. Growing up, I was a huge Chicago Bulls fan, and I followed everything they did. But now, with the NBA the way it is, I'm more of an individual player fan than I am a team. So I'm very much enjoying watching Anthony Edwards make Kevin Durant look as underrated as
Swept
he
them.
should be.
They swept them.
Yeah.
Didn't they?
Yeah.
It's 4-0, right?
Yeah.
Last night's game.
Yeah, he's making Kevin Durant look overrated, which I think he is
Well, we're
anyway.
going to talk about not even the end of an era. I don't know what the changing of the guard. Let's call
that's
it that.
what I
because
agree.
it's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
NBA.
Yeah.
In a little bit, but yeah, that's a great shout out. Ant-Man's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome. And then my last shout out is Otter Valley softball had another victory on Saturday. 6-3 versus Fairhaven. That we're rivals.
Right,
Like when I
big
was in
time
high
rivals.
school, it was Fairhaven and Mill River were our rivals.
Yep.
So huge win for Otter Valley, 6-3 on Saturday. Addison continued to be on a tear as a freshman. She was 2 for 4 with 2 doubles.
Solid.
They play
Solid.
tomorrow versus Bells Falls, who I believe is undefeated. And then they play Thursday at home versus Mount Abe, which I will be going to. And Mount Abe knocked them out of the playoffs last year, so that would be
nice.
a big game for them.
Nice.
So I know you have another shout out for Otter Valley when it's your turn. But that's all I got right now. So
Throw it your way, CB.
Nice, real quick. So
bounce
my
pass.
shout out is to Marta. She is a Brazilian soccer player. She was named FIFA World Player of the Year 6 times, 5 of them being consecutive from 2006 to 2010. She's got 116 international goals. That's 9th all time for women's. Wow. Her and Christine Sinclair are the only soccer player, male or female, to score in 5 World Cups.
oh wow.
That's
Wow.
insane. So she just announced she's retiring from international play at the end of this year. Hopefully she'll get to go and play at the Olympics. And then I think she's still got another year to play NWSL. But yeah, so shout out to Marta.
What a career.
One of
What
the
a career.
best.
Yeah.
One of the best and just so solid. Has been there through it all pretty
Yep.
much. So yeah, shout out to Marta.
I will continue with the high school a shout out. This is not a shout out, but a boys lacrosse win for Middlebury 16-9 over Harwood. I think that was Harwood's first loss of this season. It was a shorthanded game for the Highlanders, a lot of them on spring break. Otter Valley, I wanted to give a shout out. I hope I get the name right. Mama Wheels and Addie will let me know if I didn't. Sierra Cormany, I would say Cormany.
I think so.
Cormany for Otter Valley softball. She has yet to walk a batter in the game versus Rutland on Thursday, the 25th. She had 7 strikeouts and gave up 4 hits, no walks. Mm-hmm. That's hard to do in slow pitch softball.
It's right. It's very hard to do.
very hard to
Yes.
do. So when I was reading that, and of course I love to read about Addie, but it was really nice because the Rutland Herald and the Times Argus are one. And of course, we all know Rutland Herald South, Times Argus Central and North, but sometimes they don't cross their articles
Right.
up. And they're doing a much better job. So to go into the Times Argus, their website, and to see Otter Valley in the headline was really cool
Yeah.
for me. And that is where I read about Sierra.
She's a senior.
She's a senior.
Yep.
Okay.
She's a senior.
Also, a shout out. He's in a baseball where Andrew Menard threw a no hitter. Also
nice.
going 2 for
Nice.
2 on Thursday in a 5-inning victory over Payne Mountain. Spalding Crimson Tide with a 10-6 win over Essex. The Essex Junction Hornets. Winning pitcher was Brody Rock, and teammate Averill Parker went 2 for 3 at the plate. a home run and 4 RBIs. We haven't talked about Spalding softball, so a quick shout out to them, an opening win over Payne Mountain on Thursday. Wanted to get to that game, but was here setting up for the draft. Yeah. So a big shout out to Spalding with an 18-5 victory over Payne Mountain. Alexis Broomer went 3 for 4 at the plate, 2 RBIs. Rory Glassford 2 for 2, both of those being doubles. Spalding Crimson Tide turned around 2 days later, lost to the Oxbow Olympians 14-1 on Saturday. That Oxbow team's tough.
Yeah,
defending champs from a D3. And continuing rolling on is the U32 Raiders lacrosse team. They're undefeated on the season. Division II state champs last year. Lost 4 major cogs to that state championship team, but they defeated Mount Mansfield on Friday, I believe, 18-3.
Oh, wow.
Everything is just, they're demolishing teams. Zoe Hilferty and Natalie Beauregard combined for 7 goals in that game. Wow. And I just keep hearing about their defense and goalie, if they even get the shot on goal.
I was going to say.
Goaltending as well, but their defense is solid and their offense, and it's spread out. You know, we talk about Zoe Hilferty, Natalie Beauregard, Willow Long's another one. It's just, and the defense brings it every game.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to watch them as the spring season continues to unfold. My next shout out is going to be for the draft. Shocker. But it's to Detroit and everybody else that traveled to Detroit.
Yeah.
275,000 people.
Awesome.
That first day of the draft, 230,000 the second. And I think on that third day they needed 100,000 to break the record, and all I heard was they broke the record.
Yeah.
So I had a picture that I wanted to get to you, CB, but it's just a view, the aerial view. It just looks like a bunch of ants.
Yep.
And there's just so many people there. And just you watch it, and it's in Detroit. Yes, Eminem was there. Everybody's there. But they all have their little areas. There's this team. There's that team. I was watching NFL Total Access the next morning, and one of the gentlemen just went down into the pit. And he's like, with every pick, I'm going to go around to where they're all hanging out because they tend to flock together. When it got to the Patriots pick, the third pick in the first round, it was a gentleman from Vermont. He had his Vermont helmet on. I mean, his Vermont license on top of his Patriot hat. He was dressed as a Patriot. And he was just so freaking amped up, it wasn't even funny. My favorite one was, I think it was the Giants. So he maneuvered over to where the Giants fans were, and this one fan, you could just tell he was a New Yorker. CB, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just had that New Yorker slang going. He looked like Guido out of, the latest movie.
I heard that word in a while.
I throw that word out there because my athletic director at Northfield for 15 years, we called him Guido. He's from Long Island.
No,
Are you sure it wasn't Tommy DeVito?
And all the kids.
No, absolutely,
I know, right?
100%.
All the kids would call.
100%.
We all called him Guido. We never called him Frank or Mr. Pecora.
Oh, yeah.
So he was cool shit, though. And they're like, well, who are you hoping they take?
Yeah.
And he's like, J.J. McCarthy. We got to get Daniel Jones out of there. J.J. McCarthy. So then he turns around for the pick, and the NFL Total Access, I can't remember who it is. Gosh, I wish I had his name. Just kind of stands behind him. So the next day they would then freeze him, and they would go back to in studio live and go, what do you think the reaction is of this guy? And
Oh,
you're
man.
like, well, he's not going to be happy because it wasn't J.J. McCarthy.
Right.
But then he's going to smarten up and go, oh, yeah, that's who we need. Say
Right.
it in a New York accent. So rolls it, the pick comes in. He turns around. He's like, "Oh, yeah. Well, I get it. Yeah,
Yeah,
we need neighbors as well, and I understand. I understand the pick." And it was the same thing for the Jets because they all wanted Brock Bowers.
Right.
Everybody wanted
did.
Brock
Yep.
Bowers. So when Fashanu was picked, this guy does the same thing. He's like, well, guess we should protect Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you really should.
Yeah, probably.
But the gentleman from Vermont that was in the Patriot area, he had a Mac Jones shirt on, of course. but he had May duct taped over it.
Oh, jeez.
It was
Wow.
his, and he
Wow, that's
looked
a
like a
decision.
Patriot soldier with the hat, and then he had the Vermont license plate.
Wow, wow, wow.
The guy was so stoked. He was probably my age, maybe even a little bit older. But yeah, I just a big shout out. It gets bigger and bigger every year.
Yeah.
It really does. And I'm trying to remember where they said it was going to be next year. Heard it 100 times. Heard it 100
I
times.
think it should.
and
I
now
think having it
can't
in
remember.
Detroit was brilliant.
Oh, absolutely. But they
What a
change
great
it
thing
every
for them.
year. My shout out, as CB looks that up, is last shout out is to Kiki Arioffen, who we knew was leaving Stanford. That kind
Yeah.
of broke our heart. Entering into the portal, so she just takes a little short puddle jumper plane and
Yep.
goes to the University of South Carolina to team up with Juju Watkins.
Yo, Kiki and Juju. That's
I'm
gonna be
telling ya,
insane.
what a duo.
Insane.
I
What
had
a duo.
No idea where she was going to go, to be honest.
I didn't
no
either.
Idea.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. She's not going to go far.
Right.
She's got only 1 year left,
Yeah.
so you might as well.
Go.
Go
Yeah.
out with a bang.
Two things. It's in Green Bay next
Green
year.
Bay.
Oh, dang.
Annie Agar is going to have a blast.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
yeah,
is.
That's why I
absolutely.
should have known.
Yep.
It was Annie driven in my brain.
And Joe says, we are not old, Lori.
We aren't, Joe. You're absolutely right.
Hey,
Some mornings,
You guys are babies.
we'll
take it.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Like I
okay?
said, if I ever treat anyone in their 50s, I'm like, you're a baby. You're fine. You'll be fine. Not really, but
So for quarter number 2, before we dedicate the whole second half of our show to the NFL draft grades, you want to talk about the NBA a little bit more?
I mean, it's it's hard.
Okay, let me ask you this: is it the changing of the guard?
Yes.
So when I say,
So I like it because it's the changing of the guard.
are we going to fade out? And when you're going to then say to me, what's fading out mean? Conference final fading
Yes.
out. Okay. I'm not even going to go to NBA championships. Davis and LeBron James. Are we
Bye.
fading them out?
Yes.
Okay, so that takes the Lakers out of the
Absolutely.
equation.
Yes.
Kevin Durant.
Out. I think he is the most overrated NBA player, maybe in my mind, of all time.
God, I wish Stephen A.
Wow.
Smith was sitting here with you.
Like
I
just,
agree with you.
what's so
agree
great
with
about him? He's done nothing since he left Golden State, and with Golden State, he had Steph and Clay.
yep.
So he
And
could play that
Draymond.
supporting
Right.
role. He's not,
Right.
he
He's
can't
not a
be-
leader.
He can't be the guy.
No.
No.
The guy.
No,
It's
not at all.
meant for him.
Nope.
Okay. Draymond Green and Steph Curry.
They're unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but I think they're fading out as
think
well.
they're fading as
Yeah.
well.
Yep.
I do too. It
I
pains
love
me.
Steph Curry. I could watch him play all day. I don't think there's. I mean, he just has so much fun.
Yeah.
like
He does.
You can't watch him and not smile and enjoy what he does. But that team as a whole is fading in
Yeah.
my
And they
mind.
gave Andrew Wiggins a big time contract.
They did.
And he is so nothing against the kid, but he's just too inconsistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, unfortunately, with all the knee injuries, Klay Thompson's inconsistent
Yeah.
as well. So we'll have to see. I think Klay Thompson is out of there. I said that a few weeks
Yep.
ago. But it is the changing of the guard. And Wheels, you just said it. It's exciting.
It's very exciting. Like I love when, like, who would have thought Oklahoma Thunder
Right.
would have been the top team in the Western Conference?
And how do you not like Shea Alexander and
How can you
Chet
not?
Holmgren? How do
Right.
you not like those kids?
Exactly. Or like the Timberwolves. And I mean, these exciting teams that are just coming in and they're not super team built,
Right. Right.
which is what I like.
Now it's up to the owners, the GMs, the presidents to keep of these teams,
Correct.
to keep them together. Because let's remember, OKC had James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and
Kevin Durant.
in their prime, and their egos took over
Correct.
too, and that's going to happen,
Yep.
unfortunately.
Yep.
But I would like to see these kids stay together. And the thing about Anthony Edwards is he's got Karl Anthony Towns. And I give Karl Anthony Towns a lot of credit because the big cat could have left. He
could have, yes.
pried his way out
Yep.
of Minnesota years ago.
Yep.
And watching him play last night, I really was more focused on Karl Anthony Towns. He's still got it. He's not
does.
old anyway.
No.
But he is solid.
He is.
And
Yep.
it's not all in the paint. He can hit those jumpers
Yep.
outside the paint as well. But we're talking about a whole bunch of kids that are 25.
Yep.
Maybe not even as well. I like Tyrese Halliburton of the
Yes.
Pacers as
Yep.
well. And when the Kings drafted him, he kind of fell into their lap, but they already had that position manned, so they traded him, and now I'm trying to think who they got back. It was a good trade for both ball clubs. But he is going to take over that Pacers team. And I like that Pacers team. Everybody said, meaning the experts, when I say everybody, it's the experts I listen to, that Indiana was going to beat Milwaukee. And that was even if they were healthy.
Yeah.
Now they are not healthy.
No, not even close.
Lillard didn't even play.
Nope,
Dame
nope.
didn't even play. Then we all know that Giannis hasn't been playing. So there's another young team moving on. I love the Cleveland Cavaliers because that's another team built through the draft. And watching them and the Orlando Magic, which somebody literally had to tell me as I was watching an NBA show that the Magic were in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't really focused on them.
Nobody talks about them because they don't have that big time star.
But it's Banchero out
Yep.
of Duke.
Yep.
And it was what, second or third
Second.
year?
Yep.
And again, a bunch of draft picks. So if they all stay together, you look at the T-Wolves, OKC, the Pacers, the Magic, Luka Doncic, he's only 25
I know.
as well. I treat him like the old
Well, he
man.
looks older too. He just looks like the old dude out there.
And it's because he was drafted, and they didn't bring him over right
Right.
away. So you're like, oh, he was 18 or 19. Now
Yeah.
25 seems like he was old to me.
Right.
I mean, they're not going anywhere. And I will say this, and I watched the Clippers-Mavericks game because it's 4 versus 5, and I knew that the Clippers had to win to even it up at 2 apiece, going down 3-1. And Harden and Paul George did step up. Russell Westbrook plays like a supporting role very well now.
Yes, he does. Yep.
He's gotten traded 20 times.
Yeah,
swear to
I
God
know.
He has, but he's figured it out. But on the flip side, Doncic is so much fun to watch. Kyrie Irving, there's something different about Kyrie Irving. I never thought I would say this.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Not either.
He's done nothing but ruffle everyone's feathers his whole career. I want to go here. I want to go there. When he was with LeBron in Cleveland,
Yep.
he was a kid, and he wasn't happy then.
Right. He's just never. And he thinks the world is flat. So there's
Yes.
that.
Wait, for real?
Yeah, for real.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
find that one,
Yep.
CB.
He
Find that
thinks
one.
the world is flat. It's fine. It's totally fine.
I watched a very different player. So, am I a fan? Never will be. Never have
No.
been. Not going to be. Him staying with the Mavericks, him taking the max contract, because I'm like, he's just going to jump to another team because that's all.
That's
he
all
does.
he just. Yeah, he's
That's all
definitely.
he does. That's all Kevin Durant has done too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was with Brooklyn, put his super team together
Yep.
in Brooklyn. Well, that didn't last long.
Would.
And I don't want to go to Phoenix now. I want to be in Golden State.
These super teams are not like.
They're on the out.
They're definitely on the
Yeah,
outs.
Because
I
Anthony
love
Davis
it.
and LeBron James,
Right.
they got their one championship, but it was in the bubble.
Right. And that to me doesn't even count. Like
I
I.
counted it either.
you know?
Laker fans are gonna,
Like the
not like that we're saying it, but
Yeah. I think the only super teams that actually worked, and there hasn't been one since LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and oh my God, I can't think of his name now.
LeBron, Dwayne Wade.
When they were in Miami.
Chris. Yep.
Chris
yep.
Bosh.
Bosh.
Yeah.
Thank you. I knew we'd
So
get together.
that super team worked, but it took a couple years. And then the other one that I always think of when they say super team is the Celtics with Kevin Garnett,
Paul Pierce.
Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen.
Yep. Yep.
Other-
And those worked back
Those
then.
worked
because their egos they're huge.
Yeah.
But they wanted it to work
Correct.
to get the ultimate goal.
Correct.
Correct?
Yes.
You would agree with that?
Yes, I would agree with that.
I don't know what their goal is now.
No.
Because even with the Clippers, it was Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and James Harden. And Kawhi Leonard hasn't played a full season
No.
since he left
So
San
injury
Antonio.
prone. So again, I feel like he's overrated as well. But
And when he was playing for Greg Popovich,
Yeah.
Pop got the most out of
yes.
him. He
Yep.
was fun to watch.
I feel like he
then.
gets the most out of everybody.
He certainly does, 100%. So let's just assume. Let's just assume, because OKC's up 3-0.
3-0.
Let's just assume OKC moves on and the Nuggets move on. What do you think about that matchup? Would that be correct? Do I have that right? No, I don't have that right. OKC and the Minnesota Timberwolves.
That will be
Would that not be a fun one?
That will
Do I
be-
have that right?
such a fun one.
The Nuggets, because OKC's 1, the Nuggets are 2. Who's 3? Who's 3? The Wolves are 3. So yes. Nope, that's wrong. No, that's right. The Nuggets and the Wolves. Who would you pick in that one?
The Nuggets and the Wolves?
Yeah, I think I got that backwards.
Okay.
Because OKC is 1, and 4 or 5 is the Clippers and the
So they would
Mavs.
play the winner of that.
Right. So now we're looking at the Wolves and the Nuggets.
I mean, I think
Let me
that's
get that straight now.
Yeah,
2,
yeah,
3.
it would be, yeah.
Wolves
2 and
Nuggets.
3.
Yeah.
Wolves and Nuggets, yeah.
Could they?
Hey, I think they can. I think the Timberwolves are playing amazing right now.
Talk about on a roll.
On a
Their
roll.
confidence is
Yep.
through the stadium, through the
Yeah.
arena. And I'll get that right. So then OKC would play the winner of Clippers Mavs.
Which I think whoever they play, I think they
You think they
sweep them or 3-1 them.
could? Really?
Yeah.
I think they
I haven't seen much from either of those teams.
I think they would demolish the Clippers.
Oh, I agree. 100%.
I think the Mavs with Doncic would give them more of a run.
Mm-hmm.
I could even see it going 6 or 7 games. I could. But the Wolves and the Nuggets to me would be fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Joe says Nuggets.
Oh,
So
all right.
Nuggets still out of the West. That was
Yep.
my next question.
Joe-
So
yeah.
who are you guys going with in the West? Do you want to go with the Wolves? I still think OKC's 1 year away.
I
think
agree.
This is going to be a great learning
I agree.
curve. This is going to be a great. They're going to grow a lot. They're going to learn a lot. The experience alone. But whoever wins the Wolves Nuggets series
Is who I'm
then
going
we're
with.
Going
Yes.
with.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
He also says Jokic MVP.
Say that again.
He also says Jokic MVP.
And
I mean,
probably again for
yeah.
the
Yeah.
third time. Would that be 3 in a row? 3 years in a row?
Gotta
It might
some-
be.
It might
But
be.
I think after this year, we're going to see the kids really
Oh, yeah.
start to take over in the MVP race. Whether it's Shea, whether it's Ant-Man. I
Yeah,
mean, we got
it
a
would
lot
be-
of them out there.
No, Embiid won last season.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yep. So
It was
he had-
Jokic
yeah,
the
he
year
was 21,
before.
22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Embiid.
Finally
Yeah.
won one.
So it'll be his third if he does. The funniest thing to me was when the Miami Heat won Game 2, and NBA Today or whatever the show's called on ESPN was just Eric Spoelstra should be Coach of the Year. He's a great coach.
He's he's never won it,
That's the thing.
which is amazing, and he's won championships.
Exactly. And I think because when he was winning it, it was that super team.
Yeah.
But again, those super teams worked back then. They don't
Mm-hmm.
work anymore because he still had to coach the egos.
Right.
Which is harder to do.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So everyone was freaking out. Celtics, they always tend to choke come playoff time. I'm going to tell you right now, the Celtics are going to win the next 2 games, and they're going to win at 4-1. I am that high on the Celtics this year, and them not choking this year. The Knicks,
Right?
Yeah.
CB, come on.
Let's go.
Yo, New York.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think the Sixers have anything.
They don't. I mean,
Embiid's
they're
playing hurt.
I mean, kudos to him though.
100%.
I mean, he can barely
But is
Yeah.
he dragging up and down the court?
get up the court, but he's doing it. And I mean, there's not a lot of players in the NBA right now anymore in this generation that would play.
Right.
They would be like, "App,
Right.
I'm gonna wait
Yep.
till next. Like it's in the bag. Let's wait till next year." So,
So out of the top 3 teams, though, in the East, so you got Celtics 1, Knicks 2, Milwaukee 3. We see Milwaukee out.
Milwaukee's out.
Yep.
Milwaukee's out. So that'll
Indiana's
put the
gonna
6th seed.
gonna
Yeah.
beat them.
Yeah.
Yep, they're gonna be done.
So the best series by far is going to be 4 versus 5, Cavs and the Magic,
Mm-hmm.
tied up at 2
Yep.
games apiece. So Cavs Magic winner, could they give the Celtics a run? I think the Cavs could. I'm not sold on the Magic yet.
I think the Cavs would be a better matchup. But I still think the Celtics
Win easy.
win easy.
Yeah.
What about the Knicks Pacers?
I think that's a
That would be a phenomenal series.
barroom brawl. It's
Let's
going to go
go.
7. I think it would go 7.
I tell you what, if Julius Randle didn't get hurt for the Knicks, if he didn't get hurt, I would put them as possibly coming out of the East so high on them this year.
Those two teams have such a history with back in the day of Patrick Ewing and Reggie Miller and Rick Smits and John Starks. The Knicks and Pacers have a heated competition.
Love it when
Joe says Pacers in 6.
Pacers in 6. Okay, I'll buy it. I'm gonna go Knicks in 7.
I am going Pacers in 7.
Whoa, I just CB, you gonna help me out and go with
Yeah,
the
I'm going to
Knicks?
go Knicks. I
Okay.
got to go Knicks.
She's got to go New York.
I got to go New York.
Jalen Brunson, though, heart and soul. of
Oh
that Knicks
God,
team.
awesome.
When he got the big contract and left Dallas after that 1 year, that really good year, and everyone said, "Oh, she's just
Yeah.
a one-year wonder." He is not
No.
a one-year wonder. And again, if Julius Randle hadn't gotten hurt, to give them that's a double
Yeah.
machine. That's 10, 12 rebounds more a game. But I like that Knicks team a lot. I really do.
Brunson belongs in New York.
Yes, he does.
He
He's
fits
tough as
perfect.
nails.
Perfect.
He's tough. He's
Yep.
a badass. So, are we all going to go Celtics out of the East then?
I'm not sold on them.
Not sold on.
Wow.
Okay.
Nope.
Think the Pacers could beat them?
I think the Pacers could. Yeah.
I like it. Wheels, I like it.
Yep.
Going with a 6 seed. CB, can the Knicks beat the Celtics?
No.
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 So I have the Celts and the Nuggets in the final. You gonna go Pacers?
I think
Just
I
hypothetically
think I
throwing
might
a-
go out on a limb right now and say the Pacers. And then the Wolves.
Nice.
Ooh, I like
I was
it.
waiting for Wheels to say.
So
that.
I'm
like,
going.
she's gonna
I am
pick the Wolves.
riding
She's
that
gonna-
Anthony Edwards. I mean, I'm loving this Ant Man.
Circle that.
I might. It might be my new shirt. I might have to get a Edwards shirt.
Ant-Man?
Yeah, an Ant Man shirt.
The guy is pretty cool.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
The guy is pretty cool. All right, so as we head into the second half of the show, I'm going to ask you guys a fantasy football question. Okay? In fantasy, which rookie in the NFL do you want on your team? Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison. I know who my choice is. Just wanted to throw that one in there before we got going on the draft. Wow. I'm going to take
So
Marvin Harrison. Okay.
That's who I'm leaning
Ooh, yeah.
towards.
Neither one of you is going to go quarterback?
If I did, it would be Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Just because he's a dual threat, and I think he'll. So I'm gonna go with Jaden Daniels. I'll do something different than you.
Okay.
I would love to say Neighbors, but he has Daniel Jones throwing to
Yeah.
him. So
No, you can't. That's not fair.
No.
That's
So he's-
literally
What
not
CB
fair.
sent
Like-
us Thursday
oh my
night?
God, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Shout out to Annie Agar for posting that.
Yeah. If no one's seen it, it's
Like a dog.
it's basically like this dog running to fetch a ball, and it says Malik Neighbors with Daniel Jones throwing to him, and
then
the
the
dog
ball
goes
just
this way,
The ball goes
and the ball goes like
way over his head.
way over his head, completely not even close to him. It's really funny.
Joe Edson says Harrison.
Who are you going with, CB?
Probably Harrison.
Harrison?
Yeah.
Wheels, way to go out on a limb.
Yeah, I'm just going out on a limb.
I would have gone Daniel second. I would have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Say yeah.
I want to go Neighbors. Love the kid.
I would love to, but no.
Love the kid.
Yeah.
But I just don't dare to quite yet. I don't even know if I can stick up for Daniel Jones anymore. So on to the draft we go. I'm going to look at the questions I asked you guys last week. If the Giants stay at 6, which they did,
That was a real close call, apparently.
Yes, very close.
who do you want them to take? You both wanted J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah,
But I don't think you're upset.
not at all.
Oh no,
Because
not
you
at all.
both
Not at all.
were,
It was
never
literally
mind,
just
standing on
anyone
your
but
heads
May.
with fear.
Yeah,
How many quarterbacks are going to go in round 1? We stood pat. We were very confident with 5, and we'll talk about that in a bit. The fact that it was 6 is
Mind-blowing.
just mind-blowing.
At 12 too.
yeah.
Right.
no
The
sense.
Jets, we said, are they going to take an O lineman or Brock Bowers? We all said lineman. And Fashano got picked. Great pick by the Jets as well.
Yes, very.
We said if there was a trade to shake up the first round, where would it be? Wheels, you thought it was the Pats, which it was the closest.
It was, yeah.
CB and I said the Chargers at 5. Neither one of them happened. The trade came later,
Yeah.
10 and 11, swapping out.
Right, which, yeah.
No trades happened. You said no trades would happen. I really thought there'd be a 49er receiver on the move after the 49ers took Ricky Pearsall. in
I
round
thought
1,
so
which
too.
I still don't get. And what round is the first running back going to be taken? I didn't initial it, but a couple of us said 2. Somebody said 3. And it was actually round 2.
2, right?
The bulk of them went 3 and 4, but it was round 2, and I don't agree with the Panthers taking.
I
this
don't
kid
either.
In round 2, I know that Jonathan Brooks and Jalen Wright were the top highest ranked, but Brooks is coming back from an injury
Yeah.
as well. So that's fun. Now on to the NFL. We had a lot of fun here on Thursday.
Oh, it was fun. A lot of fun.
I've never seen a draft like this. Just to do an overview, I've never seen a draft where a defensive player wasn't taken till pick 15.
Crazy.
That's insane.
It's
It's
absolutely insane.
Insane.
I can't wrap my head around
No.
it still. It was one of the
When they
funnest
said that,
drafts.
it blew my mind.
Yeah.
But 15th?
Yeah.
And then it caused so many players to slide.
Mm-hmm.
But even in saying they slid down the board, it's such a deep draft to begin with.
Right.
But the fact that, and was it the person we thought was going to be taken? Laiatu Latu out of UCLA, the defensive end. He ended up being the first defensive player.
That's
No.
not even who I thought would be the first pick.
No.
No.
The
not
first defensive player. No.
I had Byron Murphy and I had
Dallas Turner. Yep.
Without and Latu, I love the kid.
Mm-hmm.
I love the kid. I love the energy. I went back and watched the first 12 picks because we were here, so we were doing our jam. And Latu, every time somebody went out of the green room, I don't know if they still call it the green room, he was the one right before they hit the tunnel. He was the one high-fiving, and he was so amped up for everybody. And listening to his high school coach, that's just the way he's been his whole life. And this kid's professional, he wasn't even supposed to get to the NFL draft. He had a neck injury when he was playing at the University of Washington. Every doctor shut him down. I'm not sure if he had the surgery or not. He must have. Every doctor shut him down but Peyton Manning's,
Oh, wow.
who said, you got to rehab. At that point, Washington was done.
Done, yeah.
You know, his scholarship was going somewhere else. So he rehabbed the hell out of his body and went to UCLA and ends up being the first defensive player taken.
Good for him.
Mind-blowing
Yep.
to me.
Perseverance. Pays
Yeah,
off.
Perseverance. I felt like we had the hot riser in J.C. Latham. He was one of the hot risers. The other hot riser that I kept pounding the table for was Cooper DeJean, and we'll talk about
Yeah.
him later. But he's one of the ones that slid out of that first round. But in doing so, the Eagles reaped
my gosh.
Oh, my
riches.
God.
How
What
how?
a draft for them.
How?
Again.
Again. They killed it last year.
And Howie Rosen likes to trade up. He wanted Quinion Mitchell, who wasn't supposed to be there at 22, but he kept, once he saw the board sliding, he just said, well, I'll wait.
Right.
Because there was a lot of good. My favorite cornerback was Terrion Arnold, and he's another one that slid. I mean, him sliding was the Lions' gift with a bow on
Yeah.
top.
Right.
But just what a draft. And the fact that they broke the record for attendance, where do we start? Do we start with the quarterbacks?
I think you have to
Yeah.
because they were the story from the very beginning.
Right.
And
We sat here,
I'm still
we
just
said by
no
Monday
words.
we'd know what to say.
No words still.
I thought
About
for
it.
sure there would be something that happens over the weekend to explain the whole thing.
Yep.
Right.
But crickets. Nothing.
Right.
It was the same thing over and over again
Yeah.
from the Falcons.
Right.
And on Friday morning, listening to the GM, listening to, you know who I listen to, Dan Orlovsky. The Falcons don't plan on being in the top 10 for the next 5 to 6 years. And they know they don't have Kirk Cousins for 5 or 6 years.
Right.
They have him for 2 to 3 years max.
Maybe too. Yeah.
it's
Depending on
100
injury.
million
Yeah.
Yeah.
guaranteed for 3, I believe. So they didn't want to get caught, for lack of a better term, with their pants down. They
Right.
did not want Marcus Mariota, Desmond Ritter. There was a third one in there, and they said that had left such a mark on that franchise and that GM that he was not going to let it happen again. So Kirk Cousins, they've got a good team. They play in the NFC South. They should win the NFC
They
South.
should. Yes.
So they should be competitive. They said Kirk Cousins is not looking over his shoulder. Raheem Morris, Coach Morris, kept saying that over and over again. Michael Penix keeps saying, I need to learn. No one better to learn from than Kirk Cousins. You still have to pay this guy top 10.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
You still got to pay him.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
Like.
So Mike Tannenbaum, who I like to tear apart, I do, and I would like to tear him apart more, but he looked at it from a GM perspective, and he's like, the amount of money you have locked up in the quarterback
Right.
position, and that's a
Insane.
Michael Penix backup.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you got to sign him. So what we have left to here will be what they end up signing him for.
Right.
They obviously have him for 5 years. But I don't feel bad for Kirk Cousins. The guy's making $100 million.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. He'll be
Exactly.
No matter
Yeah.
what.
Right.
Yeah.
Do I think he got thrown a curveball or a
Oh,
pie-
100%.
Oh, yeah.
So a pie
Yeah.
in the face?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Because they called him and his agent, or called his agent,
Yeah.
or both, whatever, when they were on the clock.
Yes.
That's kind of,
Wow.
Yeah. That's
Wow.
It's like, oh, can't
Crickets.
turn back now. Sorry.
where's that Don Staley meme of?
Yeah.
Kirk?
Yeah.
That's what I would be doing. I'm like, ooh,
I mean,
what's happening?
I can only imagine what his reaction was considering what our reaction was.
Right.
I mean, we all were like,
Shocked Pikachu.
what? Did they just say Penix? Like, what? But
And when
I
I,
don't know.
rewatched it on NFL Access, not ESPN,
Mm-hmm.
Ian Rappaport, who's a heck of a reporter, right after who was picking at 7, the Titans. The Titans
Mm-hmm.
had just picked, and Rich Eisen went to Rappaport quickly, and he's like, I'm here to tell you that I really think the Atlanta Falcons are taking Michael Penix. They've done extensive work on him. He threw in 40-mile-per-hour winds and made it look easy. They are just enamored with him.
oh well.
So when the pick was made on NFL Total Access, they were like, "Oh, well, there it is." And I'm like, "Really?" Because we were going
Right.
and we could hear the laptop.
Right.
I mean,
That's the only pick we heard.
Yeah,
Joe says big slap in the face to Kurt.
it is.
It is.
I don't feel bad for his wallet,
No.
No.
Not
or his
at all.
bank account, but it is a slap in the face,
Yep.
pie in the face, slap in the
Literally,
face,
you,
whatever.
you just gave him this contract.
Right.
And would Kirk Cousins? He wanted to feel wanted, and Minnesota wouldn't go that extra year
That 1 year.
that Atlanta would.
Yeah.
Now
Do we
what?
know if he's going to get that
Yeah.
extra year on the playing field? That's the thing that
Yeah.
kept playing
Right.
in my head is you loved Minnesota.
Yeah.
You didn't want to leave, but the Falcons threw more guaranteed money at you and that extra year.
Right.
Now do you
And the
still
Vikings
feel
went to
wanted?
bat for you when he was injured.
Yes.
Like everyone
Right.
was just rallying behind him when he got injured, and then you just like, oh no,
I mean,
not gonna-
I was shocked when he left.
same.
He's not going to ever admit you can't now that
No.
he
Yeah.
wishes he had stayed, but I bet he wishes.
Oh,
he had stayed.
100%.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And the smartest move was the Vikings just
Yep.
sitting there.
Yeah.
And
not
letting
trading,
the board
yep.
fall.
Yeah.
Because I thought the Vikings and Giants both wanted JJ.
I agree.
So what we learned quickly was the Giants did not want
Nope.
JJ McCarthy.
Guess, nope. They wanted Drake May.
They wanted Drake May, and the Vikings really wanted Drake May bad. That offer you sent us.
Oh
the
yeah, I have it
other
on
day,
the. Yep.
what Minnesota was offering.
Yeah.
I think I would have taken.
I know. When I
Yeah,
saw
for
that,
sure. I
I'm
was
like,
shocked.
I can't believe the Patriots didn't take that
because the Patriots could have then slid back to 11
and got
and
JJ.
traded
Yeah.
up. If
Yeah.
they felt like they had to trade up, they had the ammunition to
Right.
trade up for JJ.
Yeah.
And the other team I thought loved JJ was the New England Patriots. But yeah, it was 100% the Vikings
Come
and
on.
Giants all in.
But an
on
11th
Drake May.
pick, the 23rd pick, and then next year's first rounder.
Yeah.
Like, how could you?
How
and
could
is
you
that
not?
because they upped it too when they were actually on the clock? They had given them an offer before anything even happened, and then once the Patriots went on the clock, the Vikings increased their offer, and then they still said no.
I mean,
Because what happened was apparently the Patriots are like, well, Josh Dable and the Vikings, they both really want this
Right.
quarterback. There must be
Right.
something to this quarterback.
Right.
So with just those two coaches wanting him, they're like, oh, must be something to this kid. Who knows?
And the Giants didn't offer enough. They were going to swap, and then they were going to give
Yeah.
the first round.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Vikings, and I wonder if the Patriots look back and go, gosh, we could have. But at that point, the Patriots don't know who the Giants are going to take.
right.
Because I think if they had known that McCarthy was going to slide, I think the Patriots would
Would've
have made the deal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they would have had
Maybe
to.
I'm wrong, because it seems like
Yeah.
Patriots, Giants, Vikings enamored with Drake May.
Right.
Yeah.
Enamored.
Joe says Vikings got the best pick.
I like JJ.
I like him there a
Yes,
lot.
I
yeah,
like him there a lot.
at that pick. Yeah.
Kevin
Yep.
O'Connell will make sure he succeeds. Mm-hmm. There's playmakers.
I mean,
all
how
over
can
that.
Look who he's throwing to as a
Right.
rookie quarterback.
And
Right.
we keep forgetting, or I keep forgetting, Aaron Jones is there on a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
So you can dump it to Aaron Jones.
Yep.
Yep.
that dude's he's solid.
He's
out
set
of
up.
the backfield.
He is
He is
set up.
You won't see Drake May play this year. I'm not sure JJ McCarthy. I think he will. I think Sam Darnold starts.
Yeah.
I think he starts.
Yeah, I think he starts.
But I think
Depends
he
on what
short
happens
leash.
in the first
Short leash.
3 to 4.
Oh yeah, real short leash.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I think May sits behind Jacoby Brissett. McCarthy's going to sit to start, but Caleb Williams and
Jane Daniels are starting from the beginning.
They're
Bo
starting.
Nix are
Yep.
all in. Michael Penix, obviously, we know is sitting.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't think the Denver Broncos would panic. I really didn't.
Oh, they 100% panicked. We called. You
yeah,
called that.
What? Oh my
Panicked.
gosh. Oh, should I put the other?
Like Sean Payton had
Can
no
we-
idea what to do with himself. He's like,
Wheels and CB got a great shot of Zach Wilson and Bo Nix, who are now teammates in the quarterback room for the Denver Broncos. I almost spit my water out today when I looked at that picture.
This is amazing.
I thought it was
That
awesome.
is amazing.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, come on.
it's
Come
perfect.
on. The
They
one
grow up
thing
so
I
fast.
will say is Bo Nix at 25?
Yeah, he's 25.
24.
Yeah.
Penix 24, Nix 25, or vice versa. Bo Nix is going to start. I mean, that's the thing. Still trade down Denver.
Yeah.
And then take Bo Nix.
Because there was no other teams that
Needed
a
one
quarterback after.
Yeah.
After the Vikings,
Yeah.
it was nobody.
And I don't think there was anybody that loved Bo Nix in round
Right.
1.
No, not at all.
Just Sean Payton. A lot of teams
Yeah.
loved Bo Nix in round 2.
Right.
A lot of teams, and
Yeah.
I do too.
Yep.
Because the guy's he's a good quarterback.
Right.
He's a good quarterback. He gets the ball out of his hands quickly. He can read defenses quickly. Sean Payton could not wait to go on NFL Total Access the next morning just to talk about how excited, or it might have been that Thursday night, and that's his way of saying we did okay.
Right.
Don't look at us like we're fools because we just took Bo Nix at number 12.
12. Wow.
He just can't wait. He's amped up. So I'm going to tell you right now, from now until next February, Sean Payton's not going to sleep. Because he has got to make sure Bo Nix is that. And you can say it's a rookie,
Right.
but not when you take him in the
Not-
top 12.
No.
And
No.
you put him in as starters.
Especially when you could have got him later. So,
And I think Peyton, don't hold me on this one, but I know a lot of NFL experts, gurus, experts, and I want to say Peyton said that Nix reminds him of Drew Brees, the way he plays the game.
Boy.
How he reads it quickly, gets the ball out quickly, can make the deep throw as well. A lot of experts that do the comparisons. I watched a draft where it was a comparison. They do who they thought they were going to, and they would comp them. And it was Drew Brees was Bo Nix comp. And I'm like, well, that's a Hall of Famer you're talking
Right.
about.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see. But
very interested.
Sean Payton, I know he can coach quarterbacks. Well, I think he can. I mean, he totally tore
Couldn't-
Russell Wilson
yeah.
down to
yeah.
the bones.
Right.
Put him in a bag and shipped him
Yeah.
out. So I don't know.
I don't know either.
But it's all on him.
I'm still on the fence about that.
It's all on him.
Yeah.
It 100% is. We're going to talk about grading each division. But I want you to know that as of the 2024 draft being done, the Cleveland Browns are in the clear from the Deshaun Watson trade.
Oh, wow.
And what I mean by that, they gave up a 2022 first round and fourth round. That ended up being the 13th pick and the 104th. In 2023, they gave up a first round and a third round,
Wow.
the 12th and the 73rd pick. In the 2024 draft, they gave up a first round and a fourth round.
Jesus.
That
So
first-
much for so little.
Oh my
Right.
gosh.
That first round belongs obviously to the Texans, but they traded it to the Vikings. That was the 23rd pick that the Vikings got from the Texans. So that's 3 first-round picks, 2 fourths, and a
Wow.
third.
That's
wow.
insane.
Wow.
That
That's
covered
insane.
the last 3 years. That to me, wow.
Yeah.
The Vikings, because they were the Arizona Cardinals of the draft this year, to move from 11 to 10, they gave up a fourth and a fifth. Not bad, but in a deep draft, the Jets were stoked to get a fourth and a fifth
yeah.
just to
Yeah.
move up and get the person they were going to take.
Right.
Then they traded with the Jacksonville Jags to move up to 17 to get Dallas Turner, which I don't blame him.
Nope.
The fact that Dallas Turner was still there.
Right.
I'm like, well, what's happening? So they gave up a fifth rounder. So that's 2 fifths and a fourth that the Vikings gave up. And a 2025 third rounder. So they were movers and shakers. They still came out with J.J. McCarthy and Dallas Turner. The Jags gave that 17th pickup and still got Brian
I know.
Thomas. What? What and what?
They must have been like
What?
shocked that he was
Yeah,
still there.
Ecstatic.
Because that's what they needed.
Yep.
And that's what they wanted was a receiver. So,
I digress. 2 headlines from today. Travis Kelce got a 2-year extension worth $34 million. And Ezekiel Elliott is officially back with the Cowboys.
whoa.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
1 year,
Yeah.
$3 million deal because the Cowboys took
Ha-
nobody
Nobody.
in the draft.
Yeah. What were?
Nobody in the draft. And the other thing I learned, and I thought this, and I actually heard NFL Live say it today, is that the Buffalo Bills are mirroring their franchise after the Kansas City Chiefs. And I could not agree
Yeah.
more. As soon as they traded Steph Diggs, I'm like, it's like the Chiefs trading Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill. Yep.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
they're just going to bring in a bunch of supporting receivers.
Yep.
Nobody big in free agency, and they didn't.
Right.
They traded twice in round 1,
Yep.
out of
Down.
round 1.
Yep.
They did have the first pick in round 2 where they took a very good receiver,
Yes.
Keon Coleman, but he's
But then-
not a number 1 guy.
No.
Nope.
No.
So they've got Khalil Shakir, who stepped up,
Yeah.
started to step up.
Yeah,
young
he was
receiver.
great towards the
Yep.
end of the year.
Yep.
Dalton Kincaid,
Yep.
James Cook, who
Yep.
will catch. If you want to throw him 60 balls, he's going to catch 60
Right.
of them.
Yep.
And they did sign Curtis Samuel from the Commanders in free agency, another one that fits in the
Yep.
Yeah.
second or third receiver. The thing that I'm going to, that I just want to, they traded their first trade in round 1 was to the Kansas City
Yeah.
Chiefs.
Yes. Yep.
What
Yeah.
the
Like,
F
what are you doing?
Why?
doing?
Why are
That's
you
so-
helping
why?
the rich get richer?
Right.
I thought my head was going to pop off. I was sitting
That's
there, I
so-
think
yeah.
by myself at that point, maybe not. And I'm like, oh, the Bills are trading. And it quickly comes up, the helmet of who they're trading to, and I go, you have got to be freaking
Right?
kidding me.
Yeah.
Because
Then-
it's
yeah.
Xavier Worthy. I know
Yep.
it's Xavier
Yep.
Worthy. Boom, it's Xavier Worthy.
I mean, what a
Yeah.
pickup for them.
Oh yeah.
might not be a number 1 receiver, but Kansas
No.
City doesn't need him.
No.
Nope.
They just need a game changer and a game
Right.
breaker.
And that's
that
who
is
he
who
is.
he is.
They've got
Yep.
they've got some receivers that
So
don't know how to catch the ball there.
Correct.
But all Xavier Worthy, the fastest guy at the combine, 4.3 I
Ever.
think. His,
Oh, yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
Ever. So all he's got to do is run.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
run.
Give a little
That's it.
shake and bake move, and
Boom.
then he's going to run.
Yeah.
And he's going to catch the ball.
Yeah.
Yep.
What are you doing?
Like,
What are
why
you
didn't
doing?
Buffalo take him?
Right. Right. Buffalo
Like-
could use him. Buffalo could
Like,
use him.
you need that.
Yeah.
Buffalo still had a good draft.
They did, but
why
still.
are you trading to the Chiefs?
To the Chiefs.
Knowing that the Chiefs need a receiver.
Right.
Like, how could you not know that?
Yeah.
When
So-
their
Oh, they
second
absolutely did.
trade in round 1 was fine. It was to the Panthers. So the Bills went from 32 to 33. The Panthers went from 33 to 32. I'm like,
Okay.
okay. Xavier Leggett, good receiver. I do think Buffalo wanted him. But
Yeah.
then went, well, now we've got, I mean, they collected extra picks for 2025.
Mm-hmm.
So they're setting themselves up very, very nicely. And taking Keon Coleman, fine, great. I will tell you, he may not be the quickest, but he's strong.
Yes.
And he can catch it at that highest point. So the Buffalo Bills are copycatting the Kansas City Chiefs. But shame on them.
Yeah,
So
you just
stupid.
don't. You just don't do
Shame
that.
on
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
No.
You do not do that. All right, so we're gonna see if we all agree. I'm gonna put out the bottom 3. So I don't like to use the word losers, Wheels. I, don't
I
like
know you
using
don't.
that
I
word.
know you don't.
But that's what they're the winners and the losers of the draft.
Right. That's what they
But-
call it.
We're gonna put these guys right here, and I'm going to go Cowboys 1,
Right. Yep.
2,
Yep.
Panthers 3.
Agreed.
Yep.
So we all agree on that.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Like, who did the Cowboys
What
draft?
did they do?
Who?
I will let
You
you
know,
know.
I was like looking it up because when you said, I was like, yeah, who? NFL still gave them an A-.
They did because they built their offensive line.
Right. But
Tyler Guyton at 29, because I will give them credit. This is what I'll give them credit for. They traded down as well.
they did.
So the Cowboys traded down, got extra draft capital. I like Tyler Guyton. He might not help him this year. He's very athletic, can move his feet, still learning. Their best pick was Cooper Beebe, the guard from K-State. They took him in round 3. Pick 73 in round 3. They did not take enough playmakers.
No.
Yeah.
To warrant an A. I gave them a C+. And the other thing was, Jerry kept saying we don't have to rush on the running back. He's right. But there was still 5 really good, 6 really good running backs. And he just couldn't contain himself when he would talk about Jonathan Brooks. I get it. The Panthers took him around too early.
Way too early.
Because I think he's coming off the ACL, so he might redshirt. You might get him around week 6 or 8. But then he just ignored all of them.
Right.
And I'm like, you can bring Zeke back. Zeke will still give you 10 touchdowns.
Right.
He'll still give you 700 yards. He'll still give you 3rd and 1. But you got to start getting somebody ready. And there was some good running backs there. And I still think there needs to be a receiver opposite that CD Lamb guy. Am I wrong?
Oh, no, you are not wrong. No.
So I will give them as one of the top 3.
I agree.
Yep.
I don't understand.
I mean, I know that they're always been offensive line based. Like, they've always prided themselves on being the best offensive line in football. I get that. But who are you blocking for?
Right. And especially in the running back market this year.
Yep.
Right.
You might as well have gotten one.
Yep.
Right.
And they've been so high and stuck with Michael Gallup out of Colorado for years. And God bless him. He's gone through some injuries. ACL was his most recent one. They let him go in free agency. He's still out there. Maybe they bring him back. But you still need somebody. You need a number 2 receiver, a solid number 2 receiver opposite CD Lamb. And this was a receiver draft.
Yeah.
Take somebody.
Yep.
Right.
Because there was receivers going around 5 and 6 that I still think are going to make their mark in the NFL. The Falcons, we can beat them up for Michael Penix, which it's going to come back to haunt them. Because what happens, Kirk Cousins doesn't have bad games, really.
Right.
What happens when he does? Everyone's going to start booing.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be booing because of that guy standing on the sidelines. And the thing with them is, I get that you don't want to trip up in 3 or 4 more years, but there's this thing called free agency.
Yeah.
There could be a deep draft again. When you need edge rushers, because that's the weakest spot in your team, and cornerbacks. This is a deep draft in defense on both sides, both areas.
Yeah.
So not taking that Dallas Turner.
Yep.
Or even Latu.
Yep.
Or even Chop Robinson. Somebody. Even if you wanted to trade down.
All
and
they've
take
done
them.
is draft offensive players the last, 3-4 years? Like,
And I leave them there.
yeah. Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
They got Braylon Trice from Washington, and I love this kid. He's a defensive end. They got him in round 3. They were lucky he was still there. They traded up for the tackle from Clemson. So they started to address their defensive line. Never took a cornerback that I can remember. So I just don't think it was the smartest draft.
Agreed.
Joe says, I think it was a dumbass move.
I mean, they could have took Cooper DeJean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like, I don't understand. I don't understand how he fell that far. I just don't.
I gave the Falcons a C. None of these 3 teams got anything higher than a C. I gave a C+ to the Panthers because they didn't have a number 1 pick due to Bryce Young. The fact that they've brought in Deontay Johnson in free agency. They drafted Mingo, who's a big, rugged receiver last year, and now Xavier Leggett. They're both, Mingo and Leggett are pretty much the same, but Leggett gives them a little bit more speed.
Right.
So that they've now got 3 receivers for Bryce Young. So I can't. Trading 1 pick in, I think I get it. Going from 33, first pick in round 2, to the last pick in round 1 assures you that 5th-year option.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess if you really want that, I still would have sat at 33, but maybe the
Yeah.
Bills were going to take Leggett. I don't know. Jonathan Brooks is the first running back off the board, round 2, pick 46. They gave Miles Sanders a ton of money last offseason.
Mm-hmm.
So
I thought it was too early.
Yeah.
thanks, Wheels.
Mm-hmm.
Too early, way too early.
Yep.
Their best pick was Jatavian Sanders. You'll hear his name at some point this year.
Love the name.
4th round, 101. He's out of Texas, and I love this tight end. He's a very athletic tight end. Not sure he's going to give you a lot of blocking. That's an area he's got to polish up on. But it's another receiver for
Yep.
Young. So I can't wait for the first time he has 5 catches, 80 yards, and a touchdown. I'm going to be talking about it on the show. So those were. Anybody disagree with any of those?
No.
So last week I had said to you guys, the biggest roster upgrades are going to have to go to Arizona and Washington, and they did not let anyone down.
No.
with their draft.
No.
They were.
No.
The Arizona Cardinals had 12 draft picks.
Yeah.
12.
Yep.
12 draft picks in all. So I put them at the front of it all.
Yeah.
I really do. But I'm going to put Washington right next to them. And then I'm going to put the Steelers, and we'll talk more.
Oh, the Steelers did
Steelers killed
awesome.
it. Steelers killed it.
They did great.
And then I'm just going to huddle these guys.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm going to huddle the Packers, the Eagles, and the friggin' Chiefs.
Yeah.
God, I get so.
I hate
I'm
it.
sorry,
I hate
Chief
it.
fans. Yes, kudos, woo woo. But the rest of the league's just trying to catch up.
Right. And
They
it's
keep getting better. Mm-hmm. I don't know. The Eagles, in my eyes, just they always. You guys,
like, how do they
I
do
hate
it?
it. I hate
Every year,
hate
things
it.
just fall into place for
I have to
them.
deal with my. I didn't even text him.
Like,
I
how do you?
I'm so
and
mad.
I mean, come
Just
on.
so
They
mad.
got 2 cornerbacks, 2 really good cornerbacks.
How?
So first, I'm just going to touch on the Cardinals first. Obviously, stayed at 4, took Marvin Harrison Jr.
Smart.
Yep.
That was our
Smart.
favorite part, was it not?
Yeah.
Our favorite part of the first 12 picks. We like neighbors.
Yeah.
Joe Alt and J.C. Latham still should have gone the other way based on the strength of the right tackle, left tackle. They're kind of going to play out of position, but I guess if you're that good,
Yeah,
you should be able to switch. I don't know. But so Marvin Harrison, boom, knocked it out of the park.
Yep.
They waited until the 3rd round to take your running back, so kudos.
Kudos. Yep.
Yep.
James Conner's
Yep.
not getting any younger. Love James Conner, though. Every year he gets his 10 touchdowns. A true leader. Trey Benson out of Florida State, by far, I felt was the best running back. He had an ACL injury a few years ago, but this kid can do everything. So now the Cardinals got a number 1 receiver, and they got a number 1 running back to share it with Conner.
Yeah.
I think James Conner's
Yeah.
got a good year or 2 left.
Yeah.
Their second pick in round 1, because they had that 27th pick, Darius Robinson he's a beast.
Yep.
He's a defensive end, but you can slide him in to tackle. So you just, he's a chess piece. You can move him all over the place. So you got to love that.
Yeah.
Little raw, but okay, 27th pick in
Yeah.
round 1. I'm going to take my chances there. They had 12 picks overall. I give them an A. I can't give anybody an A+.
No.
No.
But I give them an A.
Yeah.
And I could talk about all the other picks they had because cornerback was the one that everyone kept saying, oh, they got to take a cornerback. They got to take a cornerback. Well, they took Max Melton out of Rutgers. He's good. He's good. And then later they took another cornerback in round 4 or 5. So they addressed the needs.
Yeah. Because with that many picks, you don't have to rush.
Right.
Exactly.
Right? Because
Right.
you have time. Was a deep draft, so they had plenty of time. Joe says, Laura, you have to play the video I sent you for the Steelers.
Oh. I will play that one next week. I promise to give it to CB to jack it up there on the computer because I loved getting that. I looked at it right before we went on the air because, the Steelers just
They did.
every
They did great.
They
year.
killed it.
The Commanders, we knew they had to knock it out of the park,
Yep.
and they did just that.
Yep.
Jaden Daniels, stud. The 36th pick in round number 2 was Johnny Newton, the tackle out of Illinois, who had no right falling out of
No.
round 1.
Shocked by
I'm
that
like,
as well.
Him and Cooper DeJean, I was like,
Yeah.
what? I get that you're deep on this position, receiver, cornerback, but Johnny Newton falling to the Commanders is almost just as good as Jaden
Yeah.
Daniels.
Yep.
I got to say it.
Yep.
They just had such a good draft. Ben Sinnott is the tight end out of K-State. I think they got him in round 2 as well, right behind Newton. This kid's going to be good too. The thing that excites me is just 2 years ago, if you're in a fantasy football especially, the tight end position, there's nobody. If you don't
Right.
take the top 5,
Yeah, if you didn't take Kelsey,
you're like,
that was it. That was the only
the
one.
tight end position has come back
Oh, it's
around.
awesome now. It's
It
so
is
heavy.
so deep.
Yeah.
That tight end position is so deep. And the Commanders haven't really had one. They had
No.
Logan Thomas for years. He couldn't get on a field. He was hurt
Yeah.
all the time. The knees just let him down. So this kid out of K-State will start at tight end, and he will be that security blanket for Jaden Daniels. Brandon Coleman in the 3rd round, the 67th pick, TCU offensive guard stud. And then Luke McCaffrey,
Love it.
the last pick in the 3rd round. There's just another chess piece.
Yep.
You can move him. He's a wide receiver, but you can move that kid all over the place. Sorry, he's a McCaffrey.
Right. I mean, his pedigree alone, like, just
How do we not give them an A+? But
yeah.
we have to give both of them an A.
yes.
We do.
Yep.
They knocked it. They had to. I said their rosters are going to be completely upgraded. And
They
it was.
needed to.
They did it. Yeah, they needed to. They did it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
The other one I had up there was Chicago. They didn't have a 2nd round pick, but they knocked it out with 1 and 9.
They did.
Odunze
Oh, yeah.
They
Yeah.
did.
falling to them.
Yeah.
He fell to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
He literally fell to them. And the other one I want to give a shout out to is the Colts, because Latu, Chris Ballard took a chance because he was taking the first defensive player. And I like Latu a lot, but A.D. Mitchell fell out of round 1 to the receiver from Texas, the other receiver from Texas. And everybody, again, the experts on TV said he's going 33rd to the Bills. So he slid down to the Colts, and everybody was talking about his attitude. So Chris Ballard, the GM of the Colts, went BS in his press conference once they took Mitchell. He might have used a few F-bombs. He might have used the bull bleep. He's like, these are kids. They're
Right.
21 and 22-year-olds, and we tear them down.
Yep.
In the draft process. They get torn down. You people are, I'm reading this, that, but you're not putting your name on your articles. This is a kid. And he still got taken early in round 2. And he's still going to be great opposite
Yeah.
Michael Pittman.
Oh,
because that's
awesome.
what you want.
Right.
As we talk about that opposite C.D. Lamb, you want Mitchell
Yep.
opposite Pittman. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Chris Ballard. I get it. I mean, you got to stick up for your
Yep.
draft picks. The Steelers completely built their offensive line.
Yep.
I mean, they completely rebuilt their offensive line, and it was with kids that the fact that Zach Frazier fell, another one, because they're going to fall. But Troy Fatanu is built for the Steelers. If you didn't,
Yep.
just look him up. All you got to do is look at him. You're like,
Just
"Yep,
say, yeah,
that's a
look at his
Steeler
picture.
lineman."
Yeah.
He can play tackle or guard. Zach Frazier will be the center of the Steelers for the next 10 to 12 years. Out of West Virginia. How he fell, he was 3 picks away from the Dolphins, and I'm like, oh my God, fall to Miami. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because the Steelers are too smart. Yep, there he
Yeah.
goes to the Steelers. Mason McCormick, who was a 4th round pick out of San Diego State, those small schools. He's another guard. So there's the 3 offensive linemen that the Steelers took that will probably start. Mm-hmm. I don't see him not starting.
Right.
But then on the flip side of that is they traded Deontay Johnson, so you need more receivers. They got Roman Wilson in the 3rd round, 84th pick out of Michigan.
Great pick.
They don't have to throw the ball a lot, but when you do throw it to him, he's not going to drop it.
No.
He's probably going to slide into that slot, and he's going to be just like Julian Edelman.
That was a great pick for them.
Yeah, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields.
Yeah.
And then with their 2nd pick in round 3, they got Peyton Wilson, who just kept sliding. Slide. The top interior linebacker in the draft out of NC State. This kid is a tackling machine. And sideline to sideline, nobody quicker. He has a knee issue. They keep saying the ACL. I don't know if that means the ACL's not there, because they made it sound like his ACL was gone in one of his knees. I'm like, then why wouldn't he get it reconstructed?
Right.
So I got to read a little
yeah.
deeper.
Yeah.
But the word was he'll play his first contract, which will be a 4-year contract, and they'll be lucky to get that second contract out of him. But you can't, for the next 4 years, you're not going to get a better inside linebacker. This kid flies. If you want to watch video on somebody, watch it on Peyton Wilson. So to say that the Steelers knocked it out of the park is probably an understatement. My sister should just be tickled. The Packers, they just do what the Packers do. They always I have my notes on them. Jordan Morgan was the one I questioned, the tackle with the 25th pick in round 1, but they needed an offensive tackle. Their best pick, Edgerrin Cooper, fell to them in round 2, the outside linebacker out of Texas A&M. And then they turned around again in round 2 and took Javon Bullard, the safety, with their 58th pick. And I'll give them a shout out for their 7th round pick of Michael Pratt. He was the only other quarterback that I was talking about. And they took him and might as well back up
Why not?
Jordan Love for the next 10 or 12 years.
Right.
And the Eagles, well, they needed cornerbacks.
Yep.
They needed cornerbacks. They needed cornerbacks in the worst way. And they wanted to trade up for Quinion Mitchell with where were they sitting at? 22, I believe. He fell to them.
Yep.
And Terry and Arnold, to me, it was tough to choose between Mitchell and Arnold. To me, I liked Arnold better. They're just a little more squeaky clean out of Alabama.
Yeah.
Nick Saban,
Yeah.
He's a cornerbacks coach.
Yes, he is.
So to me, Terry and Arnold, I liked him just a little bit better. But him falling to the Lions with the 24th pick, because the Eagles went with Mitchell with the 22nd pick, those are steals for both those teams.
100%.
And then Cooper DeJean, I
Just
don't
falling
get
into
it.
their lap. Literally.
I don't understand. I just don't get it.
I don't either.
I mean, I'm the biggest Cooper DeJean fan. I really am. And when he fell out, I said, I get it. I'll just give you these two numbers. There was a 3% chance that Quinion Mitchell would be there when the Eagles picked at 22. There was a 6% chance that Cooper DeJean would be there when the Eagles picked him round 2.
Yeah.
A 3% and a 6%. CB, you're the gambling one. Those are not good odds.
Would have taken the bet on that.
Those are not good odds at all. And one of the articles I was reading, Pete Prisco of CBS, who covers the draft for CBS, he just said hello in caps.
Yep.
What's going on? And the thing with DeJean, they're like, well, is he a cornerback or a safety? You know what I say? Figure that out
Right.
later.
Who cares?
Draft the kid. Yep. Well, you got the luxury of playing him either spot. And he returns kicks.
Exactly. Like, why would you, if somebody who could play dual positions, be like, oh, we don't know what he is, so we can't take.
That's stupid.
That's stupid.
That's like not drafting Ohtani.
Right.
I'm not really sure where we're going to play. We'll figure that out later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Somebody on NFL Access or ESPN said, oh, Luke McCaffrey taken too high. Nope, because he's a chess piece.
Exactly.
And he's on a young team now. You can put him in the backfield. You can hit him out in the flat. You put him in his natural position. Yeah. Put him in the slot. Put him out wide. I don't care.
Yeah.
He's a chess piece.
Agreed.
So we don't argue with any of the winners.
No.
And I commend the Cardinals and Commanders for getting it right.
Yeah.
You can have a plethora of draft picks. You can also screw it up.
Yep. You sure
and,
can.
My last note, I gave the Miami Dolphins a B.
Wow.
Before we sign off, I had to say that. I was very impressed with their draft, believe it or not.
I am shocked.
When they took Chop Robinson, I went, of course, I'm like, oh, take Brian Thomas, but that's a luxury pick.
Right.
So that's probably why I shouldn't be drafting for the Miami Dolphins, but I would draft better than them. They took Chop Robinson. Their biggest need was defensive end. And they took two of them, in my eyes. They got Chop Robinson, but Muhammad Kamara out of Colorado State, they got in the 5th round. I watched this kid because I watched too much college football. I watched a Colorado State-Colorado game to watch Dion and company, and this kid is a beast. I was like, holy crap, this Kamara kid. I forgot about him. And then I watched to see who they took in round 5, and I was like, huh. So now you came out of the draft with 2 pass rushers. An offensive tackle that I wasn't really high on, Patrick Paul, but I understood he's going to sit for a year.
Right.
And he's going to learn from Terrion Armstead, who's one of the best left tackles to play the game. They traded up into the 4th round to take Jalen Wright, who was my number 2 running back. They gave up a third rounder next year, but he's the fastest running back in the draft, and we know what Mike McDaniel's like.
Right. So now are they going to have a 3-headed monster at running
They
back?
are, and this is Mostert's last year. I guarantee you, it's his
Yeah.
last year. This was, and then they gave him another. They gave him the 1-year extension, but that was for money purposes to spread that
Yeah.
out. And will he make it through the year?
Right. Well, yeah, that's
So now you
they
got
both got her last year.
A-Chain and Jalen Wright, who are super quick.
Yeah.
I think Wright's was 4.39 his 40-yard dash. So I had to commend them, but my favorite pick was Malik Washington. They got him in the 6th round out of Virginia, and what he is a Wes Welker clone. And what
Nice.
they needed was
They
a
do.
slot receiver.
Yes, for sure.
So the only thing that worries me is there's a lot of balls that go Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle's
Right.
way. But this kid's good.
Yeah.
This kid's really good. So I gave him a B. I never give the
Scott,
Dolphins a B.
teach Tua to do a check down and then,
Right, right.
So
So before we sign off, what is the toughest division now? And I'm saying this now after free agency's over with, the draft is over with. In the AFC, I'm giving it to the AFC North with the Steelers,
Yeah.
the Browns, the Ravens, and the Bengals.
I mean, that was a
But
tough division.
that was
last
the
year.
toughest division.
That
Yeah.
was the tough division last year too.
right.
But I look at that East,
Without the draft.
Yeah, without the draft. Yeah.
But you look at the East, you go the Bills, the Jets with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I think the Patriots had a great draft too, and the Dolphins are there as well. And
Yeah, that's tough.
how do you count out the Jags, the Texans, the Colts? No, the Titans are rebuilding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the NFC East is tough too.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
So
Especially
let's
now
go
with
to
the upgrade
NFC.
of
Yeah.
the Commanders. I mean, the Eagles got better.
Yeah. It's pretty much everyone but the Giants.
Exactly. That's 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
Dallas maybe didn't really improve,
They did.
but they still have a good.
but they still have a better team than the
Yeah.
Giants. So
absolutely.
I feel
What do you give the Giants for their draft?
a B minus, I
I
guess.
gave
Yeah.
them a B minus.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I did. I got so many.
Neighbors is a great
Oh, I
pick.
gave
I
them
mean,
a solid B.
we need that. We
Yeah.
needed an Odell Beckham type
Right.
player. But I mean, it'd be different if we
had
had
a
somebody that could
quarterback.
throw it to him.
We had a quarterback.
Like, we don't have anyone that can throw it to him.
I like Tyler Nubin, the kid out of Minnesota at safety, but Andrew Phillips was, I think, a 3rd-round pick out of Kentucky, cornerback.
Yeah.
So they solidified their defensive
They
backfield.
did. Yeah. Yes.
So do you think the NFC East is the toughest in the NFC?
I do.
Yeah.
I'm going north. Vikings,
Yeah.
Packers, Lions, Bears.
I think they're a year away. Some of those.
Yeah.
I think.
Let
The
me ask you this.
Bears
Who
are
wins
Depends
the
on the
NFC
Bears,
North,
yeah.
the Lions or the Packers?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with Detroit. I'm going with my heart, so I'm going with Detroit. But
I think I might have to go with Packers.
yeah,
I think that the Chicago Bears will be in that wild card hunt. Remember, you said the Bears.
I know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
8-9
I
wins.
I could see them in the wild card. hunt.
Vikings 8-9 wins. Well, they got to play each other twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to beat the snot out of each other twice a year. I think all these.
Yeah, that's a
divisions
tough
are so
division.
tough.
That's gonna be.
Yeah.
Except
So it's the
in
North and the
AFC
East.
West.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I kind of feel for the Raiders. You know, I wanted them to come out of it. With
I did
Penix.
too. I wanted Penix. Oh, he would look so
Minshew,
good.
The Gardner would have started the year, then Penix could have taken over.
Yeah.
Now I'm hearing, and we will end on this note, Ryan Tannehill to the Raiders. That doesn't move the needle
No.
at all.
No.
So now you got 2 wily veterans
Yeah,
going to the Raiders. If that happens, it's going to be the Gardner this year.
it is. And yeah, they got Brock Bowers, but like, what the hell are you gonna do with him?
I know. Well, you got a 2 tight end set now
Yeah,
with Michael
you have
Mayer
to
and him.
because Michael Meyer is very good.
Yes.
Very good.
And it's so funny because Bowers isn't big.
No.
So I treat him more as a receiver.
Agreed.
But Mayer, he's huge.
He's huge.
Is it Mayer or Myers? Myers?
Myers.
Anyways, Myers. He's huge.
Yeah.
And he was starting to get it in his rookie year. And you still got Devontae Adams.
Yep.
I don't know who their running back is, though.
Don't know who it's gonna be.
I mean, I said his name because I picked him up at the end of fantasy. Now I forgot. He's a young kid. So they still got, in the running back room, the cupboard isn't empty. And they still got Antonio Pierce.
Right.
Well, it was a great draft.
It
That's all I
was.
can say.
It was.
a fabulous draft. So much fun, 1 through 7. And Michael Pratt, quarterback out of Tulane going in the 7th round. He'll be Jordan Love's best friend for the next 12 years.
Yep.
All right, so we will be back next Monday. Same time, same channel, same cast of characters. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great week. What are we watching this coming weekend? College baseball, college softball.
Yes.
And-
I have my first slow pitch tournament.
There you go.
So we'll be
Wheels
doing
is
some of
on
that.
the field.
On the field, finally.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't say I wasn't going to watch the NBA playoffs.
I mean, I'm
and
probably
if you
gonna.
like hockey, watch the NHL
Yeah.
hockey. Playoff time's fun. Hey, have a great week, everyone.